I just couldn't remember where the CP was. Maybe it could have been better to respawn? I'm really not sure. We'll see right now. This is a bit laggy. So there's a CP here. There should be one more. Yeah, it would have been this one, then I could have aligned different. Hard to say. Like, maybe I would have been out anyway. But this is an even worse round than mine. That was really disappointing, but it is what it is. Let's go with Aurel. I'm just curious to see what his lines are. I think he's one of the players who have been doing the best. Even though he does catch quite a bit of grass there on the left. But damn, that turn was sick. Like, he goes really low, then jumps somewhere in the middle. This is what I'm most curious about. Ah, nothing special really. Interesting jump there in the end. Maybe that gives him just a little edge. We'll see if anyone else does the same. This takes quite a while when you're out early. Makes it even worse to watch. Let's see, one is already dead. Oh, he makes another mistake. Richie even further behind. That's already two dead. Who's gonna be the next one who makes a mistake? See, Evan is in trouble here, but he can catch up so much. I think Guam went flying there. He's dead, so let's see, no one else will crash, but everyone just has so much speed. And it's gonna be Turbo. So this was the first proper round. Only 3 players this time making big mistakes, and Turbo going out on either just pace or making a few smaller mistakes. Either way, less than a second away from Elcon. So maybe the level will be a bit higher from this point on. We've got yesterday's winner still in. Maybe Shorty can pull off the double. Gets a nice start. As long as he doesn't catch too much of the grass there, I think he's always gonna be happy, and Moxie just seems to be completely dead here. This is the last round with 4 knockouts. So really important not to go out this time, and Lars misses the turn there. Marius can also be going out here unless someone makes a mistake. Oh, looks like it's gonna be Marius, Lars, Moxie and Docker. This time it was enough just not to make a mistake. So we're moving on to this section where only 2 players are gonna get knocked out. Now let's go with Tierley then, even though he was lagging a bit early on. So Exxon with a little mistake at the start. I think he can still come back from this. Shouldn't be too big of a problem, especially if someone makes a mistake. Oh, he barely jumps over that thingy that I hit. But Aurel is dropping down his speed so much. Exxon catches a lot of grass there, turns so hard, he's not gonna have any speed. But who's going to join him in going out? Looks like it will be Turley. Jackson barely avoiding disaster. So now clearly even catching too much of the grass in the start can be a huge hit towards one's chances. And we can see just how big of a difference it can make. I think someone completely died there in the CP. We'll see in the next one. Looks like it was a Lockness. He's definitely out of this one. But then Aurel clips. So now Aurel requires a mistake from someone up top. Otherwise he's gonna go out. And given that the end isn't that difficult, this time it's Aurel and Lockness going out. The rest were driving pretty nice times. All of them under 0.5. Still 2 more rounds with 2 knockouts. Short is still in, looking for the double. I think Avon just catches so much of the grass there. Already in quite a dire position, will need to take a few risks if he wants to come back from this. Looks like he is catching up to Scrappy, but that's still far away from that 9th position, as we see a huge mistake there from Insanity. So Avon is still alive, fighting with Scrappy, who's gonna get more speed out of Shorty with a horrible line there. And the dream just might be over with that. Shorty flies out there on the right, loses a lot of speed, and is unable to come back from that. Avon manages to save himself after quite a sloppy start. And let's be honest here, the start isn't that easy. Like, it's really difficult to get it properly round after round after round. Here and there you're always gonna catch a little bit of grass there on the left. You just gotta make sure that you save yourself in the remainder of the round when that happens. As this time, again it's Avon. This is the last round where we see 2 knockouts. I think Rin is completely dead, so Avon just needs to catch one more Scrappy there with a really bad line going left and right. Really struggling. Now who's gonna get more speed? Avon flies out there on the left. Does have slightly more speed than Scrappy, but he has created such a big gap for himself with that poor turn there. He is simply unable to come back. Unfortunate for Avon, he actually had it. Just needed that left turn properly and couldn't do it. Let's see, next round. I think Taurus and Scrappy go over the grass. The Scrappy is struggling a bit right now. He's gonna be required to do a little bit better than he did in the previous round if he wants to survive this one, as he only keeps dropping them further and further, and that's a really bad line. He went for the risk. I mean, he knew he had to pull off something special if he wanted to save himself there. And interestingly enough, Taurus dropped down quite a lot after the left turn, so maybe if Scrappy just kept it together, he could have survived this round. But when you're in that position, you just cannot make those assumptions. So it's perfectly understandable why he went for the risk. Who's gonna be the next one? I think I haven't spectated Bren yet. Bren, who won 2 or 3 days ago. Gets a decent start. Looks like this time it's Taxon who's a bit behind. Trying to come back, but he's 0.2 behind his nearest opponent, who is Massa. Still Taxon not really making any progress here. Needs a ridiculous left turn here. Needs so much more speed than his opponents. And looks like it's just not gonna happen. It was 0.3 behind early on and just couldn't come back anymore. Moving on to a very stacked top 5. All 5 of these are very good all-round players. And this time nobody touches the grass there on the left, so we have a proper race on our hands. Looks like Taurus then kind of messes up the next turn. Then doesn't really get the best line there, but we see a mistake there from... Looks like it's a bigger mistake from Taurus anyway. So even though Massa went very wide there before the jump, Taurus just deletes himself from the round and the competition. So Massa gets saved. Let's actually stay on board with Massa. Let's see if he can bounce back from the 4th place as Bren goes over the grass. Now Bren in a horrible position, but then Massa makes a huge mistake. And at this point I'm sure the other 3 are well aware of the situation. Massa is almost a second behind. It's a bit of a sloppy landing, but manages to stabilize. Bren is dropping down, but it's nowhere near enough for Massa to attempt an attack. Bren going very wide there. He keeps dropping, but it's simply not enough for Massa. So Bren actually gets saved with that kind of a sloppy start. Survives one of those rounds where he goes over the grass in the start. Let's see if he can do it a bit better this time around. This time it's Elcon with the worst start. But Bren then goes super wide and this is already over. So not a very interesting round. Elcon drops a bit behind. Manages to kind of save it in the next turn, but at the same time Bren's completely dead. A sick finish there by Granati. Gets a really nice zoop. So we have the final 2, Elcon versus Granati. The keyboard player versus the wheel player. So on paper, definitely Granati favored in a situation like this, on a map like this. Let's see if he can prove it when it counts. It's a good start by both players. Elcon is just a bit ahead. No, Granati! What is that line? And I think this is already over. So, not a very exciting finish to this competition today. All of these final rounds were very underwhelming, not really exciting, with players just making mistakes right at the start of the round. And congratulations to Elcon for winning it.